What's happening? What's going on? What's happening? What's going on? It's your boy OG Big Sam, aka Mr. White. This balmy but pretty pleasant Mad Monday with the OG. Um, we're gonna have a Michael Penix conversation um amongst saying a few things and discussing our quarterback. We got a NBA topic that I wanted to get across, and but I just want to my opening thoughts on this week. Um, we got to let the athletes of today be the athletes of today, and that's just in any sport. In any sport, um, you know, yeah, we would like the some guys to be stars and be like Mike, Shaq, what I'm saying, Barry Bonds, you know, Tony Gwynn, Nolan Ryan, Ronaldo, Wayne Gretzky, so on and so forth. But we have to, Tiger Woods, Venus and Serena, but we have to let these kids nowadays be them, be themselves. You know, cut their own niche instead of constantly trying to make comparisons or saying, oh well, they ain't doing it like this person or they ain't doing it like that person. Of course not, because they're cutting their own niche. They're cutting their own path to what I'm saying, their prospective careers. What I'm saying. And you get a lot of that, what I'm saying? We got to let the Caitlin Clarks be Caitlin Clarks. We got to let Angel Reese be Angel Reese. We got to let Alja Wilson be her. You know what I'm saying? Juju be her. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth. That that's just putting that out there, and the understanding. Um, it sometimes, in some ways, these comparisons get a little bit overbearing and out of pocket in some ways, in some cases, you know. Um, but that's just my opening thoughts. You know what I'm saying? What up, Christy? What's happening, Judge Texas boy? What's going on? What's happening with everybody? I'm gonna jump into this first topic of mine because I saw this and I'm just like that's why I said what I said to open up. You know, I saw this thing on of Joker being compared to some of the big men, some of the great big men, what I'm saying, of the 80s and 90s. And it was most notably it had a picture, what I'm saying, of Shaq, Elijah Wan, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. Now, I'm just gonna say right off the rip, you know, Joker would be John Koncak in the 80s and 90s. And I'm just keeping it a book. And that's to say, what I'm saying, he ain't a good to great player. But, you know, I could go down this particular list and, you could put him against a Patrick Ewing or against an Elijah Wan, against a Shaq, against a David Robinson, and all four of those gentlemen would eat his ass alive. And that's just keeping it a book. Okay. We saw Joker before Joker. And his name was Arvinas Savonis. And he only lasted about 5-6 years in the NBA before he came from across the water. Now, My particular opinion would probably be a little different if he had the versatility or the agility of a Tom Chambers. With those that you may not know, but he Phoenix Sun great, you know, Seattle Supersonics, what I'm saying, so on and so forth, the teams that he played for. But Tom Chambers was one of the more athletic, what I'm saying, big men, power forwards, and to play the game. Go check the highlights. Go check the reels on the tape. But and people keep running out here and making these dumbfounded comparisons, and I found this one to be really more disrespectful. I found the Embiid Olajuwon comparison to be disrespectful. It's keeping it a buck, but I'm leaning in on this Joker thing. And yeah, he instrumental in getting a championship. You know what I'm saying, in this era. But for what he against Dream, against Diesel, against the Admiral, what I'm saying, against Mr. Georgetown. No, I just nah. I don't see him being able to do none of what he's doing now against those guys. I just don't. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even if I just narrowed it down to the one on that list that don't have a championship, not from the lack of trying, because he did go to 2 finals in Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing gave 24 and 10. 24 and 10. Had one of the sweeter baseline jumpers. He was one of the better rebounders. He was a very good defensive, big man, defensive anchor. You know what I'm saying? Which most of the Georgetown boys was, Lonzo, Dikembe, you know what I'm saying? God rest his soul, we really got to stop this. We got to stop this. Because Joker would be John Koncak in the 80s and 90s. And I know some people may find it be disrespectful, but it is what it is. It is what it is. What did Shaq say that night on TNT? Slovenian chicken. Yeah. And the dream. Olajuwon, stop, man, stop. Nobody at that center spot had footwork like Dream. Okay. MVP and defensive player of the year in the same year. You know what I'm saying? I think he's the only one to have a quadruple double, if I'm not mistaken. And Dream could do it all from the 5. You know what I'm saying? Admiral was one of the more versatile, centers to play this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, we got to start being realistic. When we have these, particular types of conversations. To say that Joker would be dominant or you know what I'm saying, a contender in the era against these guys. Stop. Y'all need to stop it. You need to stop it. Because probably when it's all said and done, it's going to be, it may be some legit arguments, you know what I'm saying, when it's all said and done, he wins them a couple more, maybe, you know what I'm saying, even at that, to talk about putting him against a prime Ewing, a prime Olajuwon, a prime David Robinson, a prime Shaq, man, y'all stop with the madness, stop with the foolishness, stop. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a joke, man. It's a joke. It's a joke. And it's pun intended. It's pun intended. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to keep it a book, man. Even because he moved like Mark Eaton. You know what I'm saying? You know, you look at guys like Jack Sigma. You know what I'm saying? I mean, keeping it. He's not even on Bill Walton's. He wouldn't be able to deal with Bill Walton back in the day. And I'm talking about Portland Trailblazer Bill Walton. You know, I mean, as good of an addition as he was on that '86 Celtic team that helped them become one of the greatest passing, teams in NBA history that year. But Joker against prime Bill Walton in Portland, stop, stop, stop it. Slovenian chicken, like Shaq said. You know what I'm saying? I just, a lot of time we get out of pocket, when trying to, praise a guy. Again, if you're gonna praise somebody, praise them, give them their flowers, but this not get, out of pocket with it, man. You know what I'm saying? You just can't, because that comparison, that caption, that nod, they're way out of pocket. Because all four of them guys would eat his ass alive. You see Joker trying to play Ewing down on the block, that spin to the baseline jumper, the pump fake with the drop step, bam. You see his ass getting crossed up by Elijah Warren, or getting blown by the Admiral. You know what I'm saying? We got to you have common sense. There is nothing wrong with giving a guy their flowers without being outlandish with it. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Joker has done the damn thing in this era at a high level, okay, and you know what I mean. And he does a lot of great things. He is the Denver Nuggets offense. That goes without saying. He is. You know what I'm saying? He does a lot. He's one of the better passing big men in the game today. You know what I mean? He shoots the three. You know what I'm saying? Very, very good. He has a mid range. I like his little jump hook. You know what I mean? You know, I'm just making that assessment, putting him in, against, against, it just no, appreciate what he's done for what he's done. You know what I'm saying? In this time, in this decade, you know what I'm saying? But, let's not get out of the pocket with it. Let's not get outlandish with it. Let's not over exaggerate, you know what I'm saying, the situation, and giving him his flowers, Joe Textbook said, this era is just different. OG, I blame Walton and Dirk and Bosh. These bigs want to shoot, not guard the rim. I mean, well, okay, Bill Walton. Okay, Bill Walton, he was a big man in his time in the late 70s and 80s. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't none of these new school cats. You know what I'm saying? Dirk came in with that jumper. I mean, as his jumper got better, you know what I'm saying? He remember now, Sasha, and the boy that came from across, Dirk came in with that jumper. It is what it is right now with Dirk. He was an offensive mind. He had that great, fadeaway jumper that pretty much that was one of the more unblockable shots. You know, you needed a step ladder and a reaching pole. You know, even to make that shot difficult. You know, I mean, Chris Bosh, you know, changed his game a little bit. You know, in going to Miami. I mean, he had that in Toronto. He had the complete package. You know, Chris Bosh, he was a back to the basket guy and face up. You know what I'm saying? At the four, he ended up playing a lot of the five in Miami. I mean, but you know, at the five, I mean, because the way the game evolved a little bit, some of these guys, you know, coming in, knowing how to shoot or being able to shoot, you know, from distance, you know, I mean, if you can shoot, you can shoot. I mean, it is what it is right there. But from the five, if you're a center, in my back, you need to be on the block, in the block, you know what I'm saying, taking up space, commanding a double team, if you will. Now, don't get me wrong, which Joker does in most cases. I mean, if me myself, if I was a coach coming into a game playing against Joker, get the ball out of his hand. There is no letting him walk the ball. Ain't nobody 7'2" is gonna be bringing the damn ball up. I'm sorry. That's one. Okay. And then on top of that, you let him get to the 3-point line at the top of the key. I mean, you know, you got to get your hands up, which a lot of people don't do. You let him make these easy into the post passes to Gordon and Porter and whatnot. And you know, next thing you know, you look up, he as well as 17 points already. You know, 10 boards, then he got 10 assists. Easy. You blink and he got a triple double. I mean, you know, I don't there's nothing complex about the defense that is being, you know, played against him. That's why I say, you know, what I say about him. If he was in the era with Ewan and Elijah One and David Robinson and Shaq, you know what I'm saying? You know, in 80s and 90s got Robert Parrish, you know what I'm saying? Kareem. He would be John Koncak. And I know some of y'all ain't old enough, you know what I'm saying, to remember that guy. You know, he played for Atlanta for about 10 years. You know, he was here with Dominique was here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just, you know, it's like I say it again. There's nothing wrong with giving somebody their flowers, but let's just we got to, you know, keep it, you know, you know. It, I mean, well, George says, boy, I mean, Carlton in town came in with the ability to shoot. He was able to do that in Kentucky. You know, he just didn't do it a lot, but he could do it in Kentucky. Now, I mean, you know, people gonna say what they want. I mean, because everybody got their, you know, unrelenting opinion about Carl Anthony Towns. You know, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not knocking these guys for the ability that they have. You know, and that goes for AD as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, coming up in high school, AD was a guard. He just sprouted up 6 more inches to you know what I'm saying, damn near 7 feet. I mean, just because you grow that tall, you supposed not use the ability that you have? No. You know what I'm saying? But you get away from, you know, being what you are at the size that you are. You know what I mean? The back to the basket, you know, dropping pound, you know what I'm saying, type of big man, it is somewhat of a lost art. It is. You know, nowadays, if you can't, you know, if you don't have a 17 to 20 point jump shot, you can't play, which is ridiculous. You know, that, you know what I'm saying? But in this particular case, man, I just, you know, it's okay to give, you know, Joker his flowers. It's just when you go and make a post and you got those four guys on it, the Ewins, the Admirals, the Dream, the Diesel on there, you know, and talk about how you know, how he would splurge or be what he is now in that time against those guys in their prime. That's just asinine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like I said, he's no Tom Chambers. You know, he's no prime Bill Walton. I'm talking about Portland Trailblazer Bill Walton. Okay, you know, um, you know what I mean? I mean, especially the way the game was, you know, was played then. I mean, as good as Bill Lambier was at pick and pop, okay, setting that pick, fading off for the jumper. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that made Detroit so dangerous offensively. You know, Bill, you know, but Bill would get down there, he'd be down in the paint, he bang with you, you know what I'm saying? He you know, and get boards and block some shots, you know what I mean? And get physical with you, you know. Do I think that Joker could be a 80s, you know, 70s, 80s, you know what I'm saying, center you know what I'm saying, against the prime guys, you know what I'm saying, during that time, the Kareems, you know, the Roy Tarplets, you know, the Alden Listers, the Robert Parishes, the Moses Malones, Samson, Elijah Warren, you know what I'm saying, got it he would probably be, you know what I'm saying, a 10 or 15 point type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Make, you know, 8, 9 boys. But this, you know, 26, 27, 15, and 7 assists, shit gonna in that time. No, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? You know, on through the times, you know, and then you want to get, you know, got the Tree Rollins were defensively, you know, McHale and Parrish, you know, and those guys. I'm just saying, man. You know, the centers that played defense back then, that shit was different. It was different. You know what I'm saying? The centers and power forwards were different. You know, the Buck Williams and the Otis Thorpes and, you know, Xavier McDaniels and them guys. You know, you're not gonna let him just stand around and shoot them trays or you know, make him be able to make them clear passes that he be making. No, man, that's just no. I don't think so. I don't. But um, you'll take what said. Heck no, Joker ain't been that type of center to battle those. That's my point. You know, that's why I'm, you know, saying what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with giving Joker his flowers for what he has done and what he is doing, you know what I'm saying, in his career, but let's just keep it realistic. You know, not go overboard, you know what I'm saying, to make that post with those particular guys that he had on them. You know, and I'm just like, what, huh? What? I felt the same. I even felt the same way when because the same motherfucking dude. I wish I thought I had the screenshot. Because the same dude made the same type of post instead of the Joker. He had Embiid in there, and actually it was a Embiid and Dream comparison. Prime Embiid against a prime Dream. All right, man, y'all better stop playing, stop playing, stop playing, stop playing. Okay, because we're having Dream. Dream is my number two all time when it comes to what I'm saying, the center conversation. I had Kareem first. But dude, nah, man. There's no, you can give a motherfucker their flowers without what I'm saying, exaggerating the lunacy. You know, that's just how I feel about it. And then my thought about it. You know what I'm saying? You know, that just I I'm not knocking the game that he has and his in the play. Not at all. Just we keeping it a book. Just saying, we got to you know keep it at a respectable, realistic, what I'm saying, level in some of these cases. You know, that's just my thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going, move on to the meat and potatoes topic. Um, a scene where it, we got a hot second. We got a lot of people trying to make Michael Penix into something that he's relatively not. Um, and everybody's wanting him to be Michael Vick like, and things of that nature. Hey, let Mike, let's let Penix be Penix. He's a quarterback, not a gimmick. You know, uh, and I know some people seem to, get, in their feelings when I say that, but I'm just, keeping it a buck. You know what I'm saying? To me, he's more Warren Moonish than he is on anything, you know. Um, and just, as far as being a flat out quarterback, yes, love. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm fine. Live on YouTube at the moment. Oh, I'm sorry. Huh? No, I don't. I spend all my money on Saturday for my glasses. All right. All right. Yeah, but yeah. To me, Michael Penix, from what I've seen, even in college, um, that he's a bona fide quarterback. Yeah, yes, he has the ability to move around, and scram, and he has the ability to run. But that's not something that he leans on every play. This young man, his game is pocket. his game is centered around, Elwayish, Warren Moon, um, Randall Cunninghamish, what I'm saying, Steve McNair type, you know, they look to get the ball, what I'm saying, to the playmakers, being able to, dissect the defense, because coming in to this season, if you took what you saw from him in the 3.5 games on last year, the sample size, um, you would, and if you analyze that and saw the things they did, and I think y'all have heard me say this before. I think the best game to me, the best game that he played was that first full game he played of the 3 at the end of the season, the one that he didn't have any touchdowns in. The way he moved the ball on getting first downs in down and distance situations. Where he was able to dissect the defense, and put balls in open spaces and throwing guys open, and whatnot. That to me is, who he is and what he is. Now, like I said, him having the ability to run doesn't mean he's going to be looking to take off every play. Again, it's gonna be a game of chess. What I'm saying, when it comes to them, because if I believe a lot of teams are gonna get caught up in listening to public the court of public opinion when it comes to Michael Penix, because of the comparisons, the do-rag, the dark skin, the left-handedness, and his name being Michael. Don't get caught up in having your defense out there trying to spy him, thinking he gonna take off, and the ball is coming past your ear hole. You know what I'm saying? In a closed window. You know what I'm saying, to a receiver on the move. I think that's what you're gonna see a lot of. I think if you're a defensive coordinator and you're smart and you believe what your eyes showed you, you know what I'm saying, of that sample size of what you got out of him on last year, you're going to be out there and trying to disguise some things, making it look like, zone, and it be man, making it look like man, and then it be zone, saying, to try to flip him, to try to confuse him, because his pocket presence and his poise and his ability, to dissect plays as opposed to what he's running, is on a veteran like level. Um, and I've said that time and time again, about this young man, and then, with Matt coming in to consult and mentor him. Happy birthday, Matt. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, to one Matt Ryan, all blessing to you, but him coming in to help him hone his progression skills, and showing him certain dialects of certain defenses, and showing him certain aspects, to get, timing routes down, and being able to put balls in certain particular spaces on certain types of throws, is just going to enhance his confidence and his poise. I've seen a lot of people, point out or try to, make an issue of his touch on the ball, which I don't think is anything wrong with his arm, in his touch on the ball. I've seen the bullets. I've seen the down the field, throws. I've seen the underneath throws. I think his arm is just fine. I think his touch is just fine. You know, that people out here that are having these Vic-itis nostalgia moments. He is not him. He is not. He is not that type of football player. He is not that type of quarterback. Um, he is deep off into his playbook. Because you're gonna have the situation where this season Zach is gonna be able to, get deeper, into some of those back pages of his playbook. He will not be trimming the fat off the playbook, if you will. It has been pronounced. He Penix has the whole book. Okay, he has all 157 plays, all of them. You know what I'm saying? As Zach Robinson said. So, and that bears the question: why can't y'all let Penix be Penix? You know what I mean? It's an easy thing to do. It's an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? These nostalgic Vic-itis, you know what I'm saying, issues that y'all having. Some of y'all need to go lay on the couch and talk to somebody about it. I'm just saying. Because this young man, you go back and pull up those 3 games from last season and look at what he did and watch him and see him. He's a quarterback, y'all. He's a quarterback. He has pocket presence. Yeah, you might need, a little footwork material. Yeah, but he has some pocket presence. He has poise. His complete command of the huddle. You know what I'm saying? He's about that business. He's about that life of a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? That's that. And it should be easy to understand. You know, um, and I think the only thing that would probably be of any I don't want to say hindrance, um, but chemistry build up. It's going to come with his big uglies up front. You know what I'm saying? You get that chemistry down with those guys, especially your center, which is probably which at this point they're calling it Noozle, as center one. Your communication with your center, on the play call, protection audibles. If your center is at doing that and keep it, that'd be something off your list of things to do at the line of scrimmage. And you can scan the field, pre-snap, to collect your information as opposed to what you're supposed to be running. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. The game could come to him. You know what I'm saying? The game would slow down, which he said that, you know what I'm saying, by that second game on last season, you know what I'm saying, things were slowing down. He was able to see some things, and able to do some things. This young man is gonna be able to, we're going to be able to see some things, what I'm saying, having a bigger portion of the playbook and, a full array of weapons, complement of tools on this offensive unit. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be any form of regression from our quarterback. I don't think so. I think he's going to be, all gas, no brakes. With Penix and his progression in player development. Everything that is in place around him says it should go that way. It should be that way. It's going to go that way. You know, he's, and if you're watching the clips that are coming out of camp, coming out of OTAs, and you know, and there. I think there may have been. I think to this point there may have been one ball that has touched the ground off his throws. You know what I'm saying? Um, who you know what I'm saying? That's in most cases a very good sign. In your 7-on-7 drills and whatnot, in the way it's going. You know what I'm saying? The way things are going in camp, and the way things are going in film session, and the way he's finding out where where his prime guys are liking the ball, or, in certain situations. A lot of that is going on. A lot of that is going on. So that's an attestament to his growth and his leadership qualities as well. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's it's going. You want that from your quarterback. Calling guys up. Meeting up. And doing extra work. In a secure location, and getting extra reps, and finding out where how the Kyle Pitts likes the ball, and where with Drake, what I'm saying, but Mooney, what I'm saying, Ray, Blair, Washington, these guys, Nash, you know, in what I'm saying, in shit, Skinner, you know, in getting that chemistry down. So by the time you get to preseason and get to live game action, these intra squad, live scrimmages against opposing teams, and you're putting it together. You're putting the timing down, or being able to read each other in certain aspects, and having second nature hot reads. You know, it's that's just that is the work of a bona fide growing leader, knowing and learning how to succeed and wanting to succeed. You know, um, it, you know, it's people have to understand um, that. That his growth. You have a 3 to 5 year window of when a quarterback gets it. You know what I'm saying? And I think at this particular point, I think he's going to get it inside of the 3. And I think we're going to see all we need to see from him at the quarterback position, in full growth, with this full season. I think, this season in itself will show us what we have to look forward to. I don't think there's going to be any fall off. I think there's going to be full on progression and development based on, the sample size that we got, from this young man on last season, because all the necessary tools are in place. We added what we added offensively to the unit, um, you know, and then also bringing, letting Matt come in and mentor and consult with the offense and the offensive coach staff, and mentor this young man, and giving him, some of his knowledge and tools, from his experience, under center, is only gonna, because he's so inviting to it. You want a guy that want he's like a sponge. Matt tweeted that. What I'm saying, he's so eager to learn. and it's almost scary. Matt said it's almost scary how good that Penix can be. Just off of the few meetings and little sessions that they have had. So like it's I think a lot of people can lay a lot of these negative narrative worries, to rest. Because Penix is going to lead us, and Penix is going, do it from, you know, sun up to when the clock strikes zeros on the game to sundown. The first one at the practice facility, and he's the last one to leave. And you want that from your quarterback. You want that from a leader. You want that from a bona fide football player. And I think that that's just what this gonna be. you know. But hey, that's what I wanted to speak on for the day. You know what I'm saying? Um, again, let these young guys, these future stars of the day, be them and not somebody else. Um, we got to let Michael Penix come in and grow and develop even more into of a quarterback, in what he's shown us, and stop wanting him to, uh, be Vic 2.0, or and just any of these other guys y'all want him to be like. You know what I'm saying? Penix Jr. gonna make fans have pride in their team. Oh, the sad and optimum side of that, Corey, is that they have pride in the team, but they have it for the wrong reasons. They're Vic-itis nostalgia. You know, um, and they should have pride in their team regardless. You know, um, we again, we have a quarterback, not a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? That you know it's just it's crazy. Because you had a bona fide Hall of Famer here for 13, 14 years that they did not appreciate, they did not care about, and they did not love for the efforts that he put on the field week in and week out. We talking about a guy that came in, his first pass was a 66-yard dot on touchdown to start his career here in Atlanta. Okay. He took us to one of the two Super Bowls in this franchise's history. You know what I'm saying? We was constant contenders. We were playoff contenders under Matt Ryan. But let a lot of these cats out here tell it. Well, Vic brought the city out. I mean, well, if a freaknik atmosphere to football game, what I'm saying, is what it takes for you to support the team, then you in it for the wrong reasons. You ain't in it, to support the team. You know what I'm saying? And y'all out here to still glorify exciting failure. Instead of appreciating and being, a consistent contender under Matt Ryan, and you know, and being in NFC championship games, being in playoffs, being, contender, in contender talks, you know, and if having a freaknik atmosphere, a club atmosphere is what you go to the game for, then you need to go to the club. You need to go to Magic City. You need to go to the Vortex. You need to go to the World Bar instead of showing up at the game and not watching the game. You know what I'm saying? It's a large difference. It's a big difference. You know, having pride in your team, that should be natural. That should be second nature of the logo, not the name on the back. You know, and that's just the real of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these folks out here, out here, what I'm saying, right now, still, can't even let Matt Ryan walk off into the sunset, into his second life. You know what I'm saying? Without the hate and the bash. He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing for the city. He didn't do nothing for the city. Oh, okay. All right. Ask them folks at Eggleston Children's Hospital. Okay. Ask some folks at Emory. If you ask them folks at the YMCA of Atlanta, all 16 buildings, if Matt Ryan did anything for the city, you know what I'm saying, for Atlanta. Ask that. You know what I'm saying? Ask the guys that played with Matt Ryan if they had pride in going on that field, you know what I'm saying, with him or not. You know what I mean? Who only missed 3 games in his career. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So we got to get out this, you know what I'm saying, fantasy football mad microwave mindset. You know what I'm saying? Again, let me clarify something. I don't hate Michael Vick. I'm just supremely disappointed. Okay? Because he had the ability to be one of the greatest to ever do it. But he chose to put the playbook in the trunk. He didn't take his craft seriously here in Atlanta. I don't give a damn what he did anywhere else. But here in Atlanta, yeah, no. Pride, you say? No, he let the city down. He let the organization down. He let himself down. He let this fan base down, whether they want to believe that or adhere to it realistically. You know, you know what I'm saying?
OG, what's going on, man?
What's up, Yanny? You know what I'm saying? He that's what he did here in Atlanta. Okay, y'all need to, a lot of people need to take that energy, that hate energy, you know what I'm saying, that they got for Matt, and give Matt his flowers for what he did here. Instead of always wanting to throw shit. Well, Vic brought the city out.
The city to do what? Party
And
all night?
bringing the city and bringing the city out did what on the field?
Zero result.
Vic did what?
Zero results.
I'm so sick. I'm so sick and tired of this debate, this inner city civil war about this. Look, all y'all motherfuckers talking that shit. Yeah, just keep it a buck. You don't like Matt Ryan because he was white. Period. Point blank. There's nothing else to say about that. And any other reasons that you would ever give, because it had nothing to do with his play on the field.
Nope.
The best ability is availability. Okay.
He was always Sunday.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we went to 2 NFC championship games. You know what I'm saying? We were consistent contenders with Matt Anderson. Okay. All right. We want to talk about numbers. Look at Matt numbers in the division as opposed to Michael Vick numbers in the division. And that would be the end of that particular discussion. Because them Panthers, them Saints, and them Bucks definitely told him a new ass.
And don't forget this too, OG. Matt gave Carolina hell every damn year, didn't he?
You know, it just Michael Vick to this day sees Simeon Rice and Julius Peppers in his sleep. And he said that on the 30 for 30. Okay, so let's just stop all that. You know what I'm saying? With Michael Penix, the fans are gonna have pride back in the team. It should have pride anyway, just because it's a damn team.
Right.
Just because of the fucking logo.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all be out here being disrespectful to a Hall of Fame career, and for what? And for what? Come on, man. Use that goddamn tool between your shoulder blades, you know what I'm saying, for something other than a hat rack. And stop here. And y'all need to stop here and seeing on stupid shit, on ignorant shit, on backyard racial shit. Just keeping it a fucking buck. You got to stop it. Because it's just downright disrespectful. And I was so glad when Cam put Matt on the spot and asked him that damn question. I'm glad that he said it. I'm glad that he got it off his chest.
Speaking of that, did you see the hurt in Matt's eyes when he asked him that out?
Yes. Yes. I was glad to see it because it was unreal. This man laid it on the line Sunday in and Sunday out. From the moment we called his name to walk on that stage to be an Atlanta Falcon to the day he left here. He laid it on. Understand something? In 13 years, that man only missed 3 games.
Yep.
3 games. He come in his rookie year. We went to the playoffs.
Yep.
In them 3 games that I'm talking about, he missed 2 of them games he missed in his sophomore year, which you know what I'm saying, you know, which we missed going to the playoffs. Everybody was hurt that year.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You people just got to stop being disrespectful for these fraudulent reasons.
Yep.
I'm sorry, your supposed hero was a 0 in Atlanta.
Yeah, he was.
He did not respect the game. He did not respect this city. He did not respect this fan base with the way he treated his craft here as an Atlanta Falcon. And that is just the bona fide fact of this particular debate, the Civil War that y'all keep wanting to have when it ain't no fucking war.
Yep.
Matt Ryan was the best quarterback that we fucking had in our entire 60 since 1966. Okay, yep. Period, point blank. And I'm hoping for a Matt Ryan-like career, if not better, from Michael Penix as a quarterback. That's what I'm hoping on. That's what I'm wishing for. You see, here's the difference in me and a lot of y'all out here that's on that bullshit. I've since 1979, I've always had pride in this team, in this city. Always. No matter what. No matter what. Since discovering that there was a team here. So that's the difference in my fandom. My fandom is about the team, the logo on the side of the helmet. Okay? And I can tell you about a lot of players. Okay? Because they played here. Good or bad.
Yep.
But my heart, my pride, and my fandom was about the team. From Atlanta Fulton County Stadium to the Dome, down to the Benz.
Yep.
I say it again. If you are about it being a Freaknik-like club atmosphere at a football game, you find something else to do with your time. Stay your ass away from the goddamn Benz. If that's what you're looking for.
Well, how about this, OG? How about they find a new team to root for?
Because this is ridiculous. That's the only reason y'all stay on goddamn Michael Vick nuts. Because y'all was showing up, because the girls were showing up, because he was somewhat of a handsome guy. And then y'all think if that's the reason that you were going to the game, you weren't a fan to begin with. You just wasn't. Y'all didn't give a fuck about winning. And if you're alive, you say you was, because your ass was down to try to pick up chicks and get your drink on. It would always be damn near the second quarter before y'all get to your fucking seats, decide to sit down to watch the goddamn game. Can he let this man goddamn walk, retire in goddamn peace and go into the second stage of his life and into his second chapter of his damn life? And y'all still out here talking shit about him, and he gave you every fucking thing he could as a quarterback for this goddamn team. Yep. What up, Treyway? Y'all gonna stop being disrespectful to Matt Ryan. It's gonna stop. You know, it's a foregone conclusion. You didn't appreciate him.
Yeah.
Because now you're wishing for him, you know what I'm saying, for these last 5-6 years.
We were very mediocre during the Vic years. Yeah, LT, you right.
The fuck? Right. You just stop. Just stop being goddamn disrespectful to people that goddamn that show up to the facility and lay it all out there. That show up and put it on the line. This man played every game except for 3 in 13 years as a quarterback for this team. Okay, and all y'all, you know, and all y'all sit there, y'all main reason for not like, well, the city came out for Vic, and what did he do? What did he do?
Losing Philly in the playoff game that nobody want to talk about.
That made Brian Dawkins look like he was wearing a Falcon uniform. The fuck did he do?
Hey, what did you say he did in that Green Bay game? He looked like shit, right?
Man, stop, man. They try to rewrite history with that, and I've said that many other times. Special teams and defense won that game. Defense had goddamn Brett Favre in the chokehold.
That they don't want to talk about that though.
Yeah, you want to talk about here? Michael Penix is going to bring pride back. You know what I'm saying, to the city for this team. Pride should already be your pride. You should already have pride for this team, but because of the fucking logo.
So what the hell are they talking about?
Because the goddamn logo. This is why I feel the way I feel about my team that I felt for over fucking 40 years. It ain't had nothing to do with the name of anybody that got that was on the back of the jersey. It was always the goddamn bird on the helmet and the falcon across the goddamn chest.
Yep.
That's why I root for my team.
Mm-hmm. I want wins, damn some pride. Agreed, Christy. Agreed.
Had an idiot on Sunday, you know what I'm saying? When it's if you got to be, you know what I'm saying, still be a fan of Grady Jarrett. Fuck Grady Jarrett. His ass ain't here no more.
Thank you. Our defense forced 4
turnovers. Him.
Yeah, LT, they sure did, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to get this motherfucker some praise on some shit that he had nothing to goddamn do with. That defense had Brett Favre in a goddamn straitjacket.
Yep.
You can't rewrite history to put this motherfucker on a pedestal that he don't deserve to be on. And yeah, I'm gonna stay on this side of the goddamn fight from here on goddamn out. Because it's about the fucking logo.
Right.
It's about that bird on the field. It's about that bird on the helmet. That's what it's about. And if you ain't got pride, if your fandom ain't about that right now, then fuck off.
Right.
You want a fan to goddamn begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know what I'm saying, and the same goes for you idiots. All of a sudden, that's on the Terry front no bandwagon. You only happy about this draft class because our first pick was a fucking bulldog.
Oh, that's obvious. We know that. Oh, yeah, we definitely know that for sure.
You motherfuckers could fuck off too. Make no goddamn sense. And then you wonder why this fucking fan base is the fucking complete joke of the NFL.
What's the other thing they said? Oh, well, Well, if this the first time the Falcons drafted a Georgia player, it tells you how serious this franchise is. Man, shut your
Man,
up.
look, man, that bullshit right there. That bullshit right there. You just, I'm gonna keep saying it. Just some of you people just should not hit sin. Just don't. Just don't.
They don't keep doing it.
Just don't. I mean that type of shit right there. So I guess the Rams, 49ers are not serious about their team if they don't draft players from USC or UCLA
or Stanford too.
I guess the Cardinals are not serious if they don't draft anybody from University of Arizona or Arizona State. I guess New England is not serious if they don't draft nobody from Boston College. I guess the Steelers are not serious if they don't draft anybody from Penn State or University of Penn. Come on, man. I guess the Dolphins are not serious if they don't draft nobody from goddamn Miami. Tampa ain't serious if they don't draft nobody, you know what I'm saying, from Florida or Florida State. Come on, how asininely stupid is to say some shit like that out loud? I love the Bulldogs. Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern, Georgia State. I love all the schools here that have grown, that have been growing, that have been prevalent in the NCAA. Love them. Okay? And I root for them. Right? But it just, it is what it is. What you know, if you don't have a player in your program that a team will cover enough draft, it is what it is. But that don't mean they're not serious about, you know what I'm saying, their future and contending in the NFL. That's just some dumbass shit to say. What's going on, Mr. Knight? A lot of these people don't know what they're talking about. It's just facts. Facts. You know what I'm saying? I and not running off on a tangent, but you know, that just, it pisses me off. These fraudulent fans, and get out here and say the stupid shit that they say. You're never happy. You're never gonna be happy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of you don't do your homework. You don't do your research. You know what I'm saying? And just because, you know, the regime that be, or whatever the case may be, doesn't pick or sign the person that you deem, you know what I'm saying, worthy or in need of being here, you know, it makes it seem not serious. Are you shitting me? Never mind taking into consideration, you know what I'm saying, the financial consequences, as it were, whether it be money or draft capital.
Right.
If we have the money to sign the guy, then we go get a guy. Okay, but as a person who actually has turned out to be one of the better GMs and scouts in this league, and one Ted Fontenot, who I have faith in, who has done his job admirably. Because the stack upon stack of talent that is here right now says so. You know, you're not gonna please everybody. Even if you go out here and you mess around, you pick some Hall of Famers, which we have done in certain points in time, and still these motherfuckers are never gonna be happy because it ain't their way. It ain't their way. You know what I'm saying? Look, swinging it around back to the original point. We have to let Michael Penix be Michael Penix. He's not gonna beat anybody else.
Right.
Okay. And if you watch this man through his journey from high school through college, you know what I'm saying, through his 2 injuries, okay, and now to the pros. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna keep saying it. We have a quarterback, not a gimmick. We have a guy that is a pocket quarterback. He has the ability to run. He has the ability. Okay. But we have a quarterback. We have a Warren Moon-esque. We have a John Elway-esque, Jim Kelly-esque quarterback. Steve McNair-esque type of quarterback. We have a quarterback. Okay? And just because he ain't, out here, and gonna be in games running for 89, 90, 100 yards a game to satisfy your fantasy goddamn nut, you're gonna be unhappy. Well, then you're not a smart fan. You're just not. You're just not. And the sample size of games on last season should have shown you that. We're right now in a situation where we have a lot of tools in place. We have a lot of leadership in place for this young man to succeed as a NFL quarterback. And like Matt Ryan tweeted on week 4 last, the kid is like a sponge right now, seeking and searching for information. Okay, so and we have to sit back and watch and let this young man, you know what I'm saying, be himself. Be him. Be Michael Penix Jr.
Right.
Not a version of somebody else. Not a 2.0 of somebody else.
Yeah.
He's gonna progress and develop into the best Michael Penix Jr. that he can be. And that's gonna be better than anything else that you might want him to be. And so that's just the real of that. That is just the reality of that. What they added in offensive personnel and put in place. He's in a position to succeed. The situating of the offensive coaching staff, he's putting him in a position to succeed. Letting a future first ballot Hall of Famer in Matt Ryan come in and consult on the offense and mentor him. It's putting him in a position to succeed.
They had stuffed crust pizza from Domino's before.
Yeah, Mr. Knight. The kid wants to be great. He wants to be great. And I think he can be. I think this full slate, this full season, we're going to see more of what we saw from him in those 3 games on last season, which was nothing but, he got better each game. And I think we're going to have more of that on this season. And if you're watching any of the film clips that are coming out of minicamp, coming out of OTAs, and coming out of, after practice, moments, you can see that. It's amazing to me. It just really is. It really is the mindset of this fan base, and in particular. But I think we're gonna get to see a better version of Zach Robinson. You know what I'm saying from the coordinator standpoint, and we're gonna see a progressive and developing. You know what I'm saying more version of Michael Penix Jr., which means we're gonna see. You know what I'm saying the mutation into a well-oiled machine of this offensive unit as a result. What up, Ghost? Matty Ice, greatest quarterback in Falcons franchise history, heads down. Michael Vick, most exciting quarterback in franchise, who threw the playbook in the trunk. Facts. Facts. You know, um, it, 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 we're in a position to succeed in 2025, 26.
Yeah.
As long as Raheem Morris stay the fuck out the way and let his coordinators coordinate and do their jobs, I think the sky will be the limit. But if Raheem Homer Simpsonizes this season, we're gonna be right where we were on last year. You know, you I think where somebody was, talking about, the difficulty of navigating this, saying this upcoming schedule. Well, I want the schedule to be as hard as it possibly can be. Because we get down to it and we're in a playoff position and having dug through and made it through and make it to the playoffs and be battle tested, then it's all the more better for it.
Yeah.
Knight, give your thoughts, man. Give your thoughts on that. And, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna wrap this thing on
up. Yes, everything you said about coaching is something I agree with. Homer Simpson, he has to let these guys do their job, man. Because coach, you doing what you did last year, and you right on. We're gonna be right back in the same, but this maybe wasn't last year. Missing the damn playoffs. So at this point, we have no more. Go get it done, and your ass got to go.
Hey. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. King Richard says these fans need to shut the fuck up. Matt Ryan had us in the playoffs every year. These fans are spoiled as fuck. We probably only missed the playoffs 2 times out of 14 years. Spoiled ass fans. Facts.
Is this the same fan base they wanted a quarterback that you've been calling out for years on this damn team?
Yeah, same one. But hey, I've been in here an hour plus. Look, you got to sit back and you got to watch and let Penix, progress and develop, into the leader that he's going to be and is showing to be. You know what I'm saying? We're in a good situation. We're in a good, position to succeed as a team, as a unit, offensively. And we just, you have to watch and wait and see. You know what I'm saying? So hey, that's what I got for y'all. You know what I'm saying? To open up the week. Mad Money with the OG. I just might have an OG Tuesday tantrum. I just might. I just might. You know, it's I'm looking for saying some things. You know, um, you know what I'm saying. Uh, it coming up. You know what I'm saying, coming through this week. And put I'm in the works. I got some creative things. What I'm saying, in the works, and putting some stuff together and building this. What I'm saying, Mr. White Network Foundation. Uh, Ghost said, "Facts. It's all about being battle tested. I love it when our schedule is tough as nails, as Ric Flair would say. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Facts, facts. You know what I'm saying? So going forward this week, like I said, I'm probably have an OG. I just might have an OG Tuesday tantrum for y'all. The T gonna be the T, and Falcon Friday gonna be Falcon Friday. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody. Appreciate everyone for uh, participating in this dialogue and being in the chat. Those that are watching, hit that like for me. You know what I'm saying? If you like what you heard, you know what I'm saying, in the conversation and in the dialogue, you know what I'm saying, subscribe to Mr. White Network. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys always. Mr. White Network don't work without you. You know what I'm saying? Just going forward, just, you people to know that. And with that being said, hey, you got to keep it A. You got to keep it dirty. And most notably, you got to keep it real with yourself, man. Let your next choice be your best choice. This is the OG with the Young Knight and the Unholy Alliance. We out.
Peace.